how companies like PwC can catalyze that private partnership that reducing the carbon emissions?
Thank you for the question. I think it's a hyper important one. The urgency of climate action is such that, above all, what the world needs is very effective and fast mobilization of public and private worlds and sectors working together in a seamless way. And government has to play a pivotal role there, because they are the ones setting the policies, they are the ones creating the incentives to pull in then the private sector. But this is a demanding role, and in many cases, especially in countries in our region, this is actually a new role for government, so they need to adapt to that, they need to transform the way they operate, the way they're open to the private sector, the way they operate as agile organizations in order to fit into this new reality. What we do as PwC is try to affect this collaboration in a number of ways, starting, for example, from developing, helping the public sector develop the new policies which relate to sustainability, to climate mitigation and adaptation in such a way that they're effective in their content, but at the same time ensure that the private sector is involved. A very important part is financing, getting the right financing. So we work with public and private sector in designing innovative financial instruments, such as green bonds and others, which are targeted to in climate technology and climate mitigation and adaptation. Blended finance is very important there, because this is a combination in the financing between public and private sector, so that public comes in and through guarantees and other steps takes away some of the risks and encourages private sector to work. I think other contributions that we make effectively are capacity building, which is educating both public and private sector around carbon technologies and what can be done to finance and to implement biggest impact in the different economies. It's also about working with startups and academia to stimulate innovation. And finally, we have a mission also to educate the broader public. So the way we gather and usually involve both public and private players in different seminars, workshops, etc. It not only fosters their collaboration, but it brings additional knowledge to the general public. So I think these are some examples. Okay, this is a very important connection between accountability and transparency. And I think for transparency, one very important aspect is the implementation of unified and standardized protocols and systems to actually measure the impact, measure the progress, measure the emissions reduction that is uniformly applied across different countries' territories. We work with governments quite often to help them transpose all the new regulations and protocols in their local environment, because that is very, very important. Now, it's also important to have transparency and accountability in the private sector, right? Because these two these are part of the same equation. And there, regulations such as CSRD and environmental standards are helping. We work a lot with private sector to help them understand the requirements, help them collect the right data, prepare the reporting, assess their gaps, and then also implement technologies that help with this reporting. And then ultimately, I think by working both with the public and private sector, we successfully connect the dots, because when both parties work together and there is more accountability and transparency in both, the level of trust is enhanced and they just collaborate much more effectively towards the joint outcome.